have a question. When your boss walks into the room, do you stand up or stay seated? Your answer says a lot about where you are from and where you work. Is respect about the way you greet someone, calling them sir or madam, or confidently using their first name and sitting comfortably during a meeting? If you hesitated just now or felt unsure which answer is right, you are exactly who this episode is for. Because understanding respect across cultures can change the way people respond to you and help you thrive at work. Well, welcome to episode 2 of the Breaking Through Book Club, BTBC, where we turn immigrant experiences into practical strategies for success. Today, we are diving into culture and respect, how to honor where you come from while thriving where you are. Well, hi. I am Marianne Amwa, author of Breaking Through, the Immigrant's Handbook for Thriving in the American Workplace. Each week, we unpack a topic or a chapter from the book through real stories, lessons, and strategies that help us grow in confidence, culture, and community. Last week, we began this journey together. So if you missed episode 1, go back and check it out after this one. And while you are there, make sure you watch our other videos on emotional intelligence and office rules. They will help you build the mindset and tools to thrive at work. Today, we go deeper. Because thriving as an immigrant isn't about letting go of who you are. It's about learning how to stand between two worlds without losing your balance. Well, let me tell you a story. This story, I call it First Name Shock. I grew up in Ghana, where calling adults by their first name growing up was unthinkable. At home, in school, at church, in the workplace, you just didn't do that. So imagine my surprise when I came to America and realized that everyone in my orbit, in my circle, where I worked at the university, called each other by their first names, regardless of age, position, tenure. They just call people by their first names. My supervisor was John. My director was Susan. At first, it made me uncomfortable. It felt disrespectful. But then I learned something. In America, using someone's first name isn't rude, it's relational. It communicates equality and openness. And yes, some cultures within America still value titles just like ours. So, if you are ever unsure, simply ask, would you prefer I call you Dr. Johnson or Mary? That one question shows you are willing to honor both sides. So coming to America, people in my circles, orbit, calling each other first name. The students I was teaching calling me by my first name. That experience taught me something powerful. That respect is defined by culture. In Ghana, growing up in Ghana, respect looked like hierarchy. Elders first, titles honored. In the US, respect looks like equality. Names shared freely, voices valued equally. Neither is wrong. They are just different expressions of the same value. Yes, neither is wrong. They are just different expressions of the same value. Let me tell you a second story, and I title it Stand Up or Sit Down. Many years ago, an older woman asked me a question. I was actually in someone's house, my teacher's house. I started to answer her while seated, and she said to me, stand up and answer me properly. stand up and answer me properly. That was an experience. So I stood up and I did answer her properly. Fast forward to my first job in America. My boss walked in and I stood up to greet him. He smiled and said, "Oh, please sit down." And I will tell you that I've done that even like 13 years ago with my boss. I stood up and said, "Oh, no, please sit down." So in Ghana, standing was respectful. In America, it was unnecessary formality. Same action, two meanings. Respect depends on who is defining it. Let that sink in. Respect depends on who is defining it. So, how do you find your balance? How do you find your balance in two worlds? If you are wondering how to balance your culture in Americas, here is what has worked for me over the years. Know your culture. Learn your culture's definition of respect. Learn your organization's culture of respect, or the community or the place. Learn that culture of respect. Then find your balance. So 1, learn your culture's definition of respect. Learn your organization's culture of respect. Then find that balance. When in Ghana, I adapt to Ghanaian norms. When in America, I adapt to American norms. Wisdom isn't abandoning your culture. It's knowing when to honor which one. So let's also talk about raising kids. Family reflection here. Raising children between two cultures can be tricky. Do I insist on "yes, ma'am," or let them greet casually? I teach them one simple word: context. Context. Honor people wherever you are, but understand where you are. That's how we raise culturally intelligent children. That's how we raise culturally competent children. Children who can thrive anywhere. So now, let's reflect. This is our closing reflection. Respect isn't just a word. It is a bridge. When you understand both sides, you create harmony, not tension. You don't have to abandon your roots to succeed. You don't have to abandon your roots to succeed. You can honor both worlds and stand confidently in who you are. So, what's one respect rule from your culture that still shapes you today? I said mine. I still want to stand to honor those that I truly value. I feel that standing is a sign of respect for me. So what's one respect rule from your culture that still shapes you today? Share it in the comments. I would love to hear your story. And if you haven't yet grabbed your copy of Breaking Through, please do so. The link from Amazon, the link is in the description. And don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss next week's episode. If you're already subscribed, thank you. We value each one of you. We value each one of our subscribers, and we read every comment that you leave. Next week's episode is Know Your Value. How to speak about your accomplishments with confidence without feeling guilty. This is Breaking Through Book Club, BTBC, where your story becomes your strategy. Everyone has a story. Your story becomes your strategy. I am Marian Amwa, and I will see you next week.